Welcome everyone. I'm super excited to be here today. And as we all know that the coronavirus is already a global pandemic, and many software developers and IT professionals around the world, in general, have already turned to work from home mode. And as the official guidelines is to stay at home, there's been a large amount of change over the last couple of months due to the impact of COVID-19 on in-person events. So, as I've spent much of my last 6 years either mentoring, building, running, and being involved with the community, I thought I would share some of the tips and insights that I've gained over this time on what you need to consider for going online. So, today I will talk about the changing face of developer communities, in which I will tell how to transition from in person events to the virtual events and also about starting and scaling communities during the coronavirus season. So it draws upon from my personal experiences and also from observing other communities that are tackling this issue. So a little bit about myself. I'm Prasad Seth. I'm a passionate community builder, a tech speaker, tech evangelist, and a software developer. From last 6 years, I'm actively working with developer communities, either by leading them, growing and scaling, mentoring the communities, and organizing events. Currently, I'm a part of various communities, and I'm playing different roles at different communities. I like to talk at developer conferences, meetups, and communities around the world. I enjoy sharing my experiences in tech and the lessons that I've learned. I'm passionate about evangelizing tech, meeting new developers, and helping in solving their problems. I've been a part of global communities, startups, and upskilling initiatives, and I've personally seen the impact of my programs on thousands of people across multiple cities. So I'm also a Slack platform community co-chapter leader. So yeah, let's begin. Uh, so most of the tech companies have now figured out that building a community is very important because it helps them in spreading the use of their softwares or platforms. And from many years, developers have always been community minded. According to Evans Data Corporation's survey, it says that around 31% of developers say that they have improved the code quality when actively involved in a community, and around 77% developers say that they have experienced reduction in time to implementation when they are actively involved in a community. So um, now, due to the pandemic, as more developers are spending more time online, we can say that hosting virtual events is the new normal. So let me first tell you some of the major pros of hosting virtual events. First is it costs nothing. Because with a virtual event, organizers tend to save on certain logistical costs, such as venue rental or other hospitality expenses, such as food and refreshments, insurance, accommodation, which is applicable for a multi-day event, such as a conference, and many other costs involved in organizing an in-person event. So, and if you are thinking about accessibility, then surely virtual events are more accessible than in-person events with all the captioning and ease of attending from the comfort of your own setup. So virtual conferences are quite powerful and scale to many thousands of attendees that would be very difficult to gather in person. And yes, online meetups and roundtables give your members an opportunity to have intimate discussions from the comfort of their home. Another important thing is you can now expand your meetup to a wider geography since physical barriers are not an issue. By running it online, your event becomes more accessible to a global audience. Organizers can now combat space constraints which they face while organizing in person events. So, by choosing a platform suitable for your event, you will be able to potentially house a bigger audience without the limitations of a physical space constraint. So I feel online events are great to drive inclusivity as well, uh, because in-person events usually take place in the evenings or in the weekends, at the weekends, and at venues that aren't always accessible to all. So such arrangements exclude people who face logistical or cultural difficulties in attending the meetups. So in online events, people can tune in from anywhere. On top of that, live captioning helps people who struggle with accents and speed of speech from various speakers. So yeah, and thus I feel your event can reach wider audience. Online events can have much wider reach than in-person events. Just think of all the members you miss at in-person events because of schedules and budget cost, and think of students and international members. So, for example, one of the Global Developer Summit gathered around 1,000 people in person last year. They had spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on it and worked on it the year round. So, now they are hosting a global summit, which will be a free virtual conference, and it's estimated that they will have well around 3,000 people in attendance. And they have put this event together in just 1 month. So, but if you think from a number standpoint, companies are able to drive more quickly than they do with an in-person event. Yeah. So companies are able to drive many more leads and even grow their audience. So when a company allows the community to host virtual events, they can actually scale up a massive virtual content program very quickly. Now, let me tell you how one can seamlessly switch from in-person events to virtual events. It's important to know that all online event platforms are created equally, and not all will have the ability to host the type of event you want to run. So make sure you know exactly what functionality and support your platform provider offers. Find out the pros and the cons of each platform. Know that your target audience, the demographic, how tech savvy they are, how familiar they are with the newer technologies. All these things will help you as an organizer to determine which platforms to use. So choose the right platform for quick turnarounds and interactivity. And once you have decided a right platform, it is equally important to have a great moderator. So basically, someone who is welcoming and can foster an engagement and open atmosphere online. And not only the platform and moderator, focus on demand as well. I would recommend to think about where your on demand content will sit, how accessible it will be to the rest of the community, and how you want to drive awareness of that great content sitting online. So for events, you can now easily invite an overseas expert. This will surely help you to bring new expertise to local audiences, which you can't do as easily with in-person events. And remember to be kind about the time zone accommodation. Virtual meetups make it so much easier for your overseas expert to start connecting with the local audiences. For example, at an in-person event, a speaker has time to meet, say, around what max 15 people during the pizza time. While at a virtual event, many people can direct message the speaker on a question that they have or start saying hi on social media, and the relationship continues from there. So with virtual events, it is important to think about carbon savings as well. So don't forget to include the carbon savings into your success measures. By measuring the carbon savings, you get good foundation for virtual meetups to become more of a norm as a long-term green initiative, even after this pandemic fades out. So next is some of the guidelines to host a virtual event. It's not simple to host a virtual event. There are a lot of things to prepare for a virtual event, and this is what I do before an online meetup. First, most important thing is whenever you publish an event, your community members should be informed by email. And a good practice is to publish the event minimum 2 weeks before the event, just like the regular in-person meetup. And you can also publish the event on Meetup or any other platform you usually publish events on. After publishing, promote the event via regular channels such as Twitter, LinkedIn, just like what you do during the in-person event. So if you're hosting an event with a partner, ask them to promote the online meetup. And due to any unavoidable circumstances, if you happen to cancel your event, you must notify about it to all the registered attendees. In the email and in event details, just make sure that and make it clear where to register for the online event. There may be technical challenges for your audience, I mean the attendees, and just make sure to give them time and plenty of guidance on how to get set up with your tools and technology. Create content and guides specific for your event. Yeah. And if you have planned the event with a remote employee or say external partner, then schedule a 15 minutes dry run. It can be just few days before to make so just to make sure the software you are using works for them as well, and they can share their screen. Another most important thing is to set ground rules. For group calls and discussion groups, set ground rules upfront about what the format will be, when to speak, and how to contribute. So you don't get a lot of people trying to talk over each other, and everyone has a chance to contribute. You'll also want to set ground rules for any chat spaces you create, and about what people can or cannot use those spaces for, because they can quickly devolve into promotions and negativity if you don't have the rules in place. So the most important thing when it comes to event, as we all know, is planning. So yeah, you should do your best to allow at least 3 weeks before publishing the event for planning and preparing your event. At a minimum, it typically takes around say 2 weeks to effectively plan an event. Suggested timeline would be: first, pick a date for your event. Then you must plan your budget, decide on the type of event you would like to host. Once you have decided the type of event, you must decide a platform, a virtual platform to host your event, and then determine the content and subject on which you will focus. And last but the most important thing is to look for the speakers. Yeah. So now to talk about the question that I often get: how to start and scale a developer community. So to answer this, I feel the most critical skill in building a community, no matter the niche, is to provide a space for your audience to share their specialized expertise and insight. So here are two most important things. First is to choose the right communication platform to bring members together. For example, you can use Slack. In Slack, there is a feature to create channels, and channels bring order and clarity to work. You can create them for every project, for every topic or a team. And when there's a channel for everything, you can focus on the conversations and work that matters most to you. And now, second most important thing to remember is your community might be more willing to contribute to your project if they feel a sense of inclusiveness. The more you make others feel part of the project, the more enthusiastic and motivated they will be to stick with you through the thick and thin. So, to start a community, you must focus on a niche to start. Ask yourself, why should someone participate in your community? Another thing to remember is to start small. Like most things, a community isn't going to be a huge on day one. The most successful communities often start as small email lists, or say forum threads, or it can be anything else. They later grow into something significant as you learn more about its value. So once you have started your community and know that community have a solid foundation, let's say some a few people are engaging regularly and clearly getting value from your community, then I feel it's time to spread the word about your community. There are several ways to do this, and the most effective will always depend on the type of community you run. So yeah, in case you are wondering what are the best ways to make your community feel included, here are a few ideas. First one is to listen to their feedback, both the positive and the negative. You might find the most useful information in hard to hear feedback, and also make sure you are available on different channels so that users will have an easy time communicating with you. Another thing is you can consider having a developer mailing list. This mailing list will offer your users on the ongoing information. Everyone who will subscribe to the list will receive information like the latest blog post or the public releases that you have, and any other major announcements. And along with this, the setting a code of conduct is very, very important. Why I say this is because your project or a product might bring together people from all over the world. Surely, diversity can be incredible, but it can also sometimes lead to major conflicts between your community. So, your community needs to offer a harassment free experience for all the users, regardless of their age, ethnicity, gender, nationality, sexual identity, or religion. So, I genuinely believe that building a thriving community around your project or product is possible. You can do this by being 100% transparent with your users, building personal relationships, making people feel included, and setting a clear code of conduct. So, investing time and effort to create an enthusiastic community is worthwhile. After all those products you are using every week are fueled by thriving communities like the one you are trying to build. The community you will build will only get you closer to your long-term goals of making the product the best tool on the market. The most crucial thing you need to remember is that your relationship with the community. Relationship is always a two-way street. Earn members and contributors support and engagement by building an environment in which they will also benefit from the collaboration. So to sum it up, in order to build and scale a vibrant community, you need to make it easy for everyone to use your product, clearly explain how to contribute and build relationships, and also make people feel included, and don't forget to set a code of conduct. So to build a successful community, you need your target users to engage, contribute proactively, and create a meaningful dialogue. And you can do this by fostering creativity. Community members don't want to be walled into a box. They don't want to be given a limited set of tasks. Community members want to use their creativity to explore ways to make a product better. They want to express ideas and have an open dialogue around those ideas. So the best ideas and products have an open, creative environment, but a clear method in which work gets done, reviewed, and integrated. And as you try to build a simple, clear workflow, don't gut this creative input. And while doing this, you also need to take care of simplifying and centralizing the team workflow. While you want to foster creativity, the way in which the team works should be as clear, simple, and as accessible as possible. Say for many open source projects, they have an online repo, example on GitHub, an online issue tracker, and the code contributions are made via pull request. So they will also have a central place where the project is discussed, such as Slack. So yeah, so design this workflow and keep it as simple as possible according to your community requirements. And yeah, so finally, the tone and way in which you engage with your contributors and the community members is enormously important. So be engaging and fun with them, validate great contributions, provide friendly constructive criticism, and smile both in person and online. It sounds simple, but this is critical. Build an environment, I would say, people want to be a part of. And why I'm saying this is really important is because of, again, the two reasons. First is people like working in more social, fun, and engaging environments. And second is human beings mimic each other, and especially their leaders. As such, if you are fun and engaging, they are likely to be so. As there is a proverb which says, it takes a village to raise a child, and I feel it takes a community to create a healthy project. I feel all participants in a community have the opportunity to shape and improve the software. Everyone has a chance to make a difference. A community is not a construct defined by a physical location. It's more defined by sharing attitudes, interests, and goals. So there are no arbitrary boundaries of company, country, or even the language. People from all backgrounds with diverse perspectives, I would say, can participate in a community. So this diversity is what makes a healthy community thrive, and diversity of thought, diversity of experience, and diversity of opinions makes us stronger by presenting us opportunities to solve the problems collaboratively. So encourage your community members to be kind when interacting with each other. Strive to make everyone in the community feel welcome, regardless of their background or how much they contribute. Beyond community being good for business, obviously it is. I feel that being a part of a community is good for you as a human being, because it teaches you a lot of things, like learning to collaborate, to listen to others, to embrace diversity, and this can make you a better person as well. So over the time, as more people become a part of a community around a project, the potential for accelerated problem solving expands even further. So when so many people are invested in the outcome and in the continuous innovation around it, a community has a greater chance of success. So I hope these learnings are helpful to you. But one thing I'm sure of, community always has and always will be critical to humans, whatever the format will be, or either online or offline. people will get extremely creative in finding ways to connect with each other. So keep building the community, keep experimenting, and stay positive for your communities, and just keep showing up. Thanks a lot, DevRel Asia, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to talk on such an amazing platform. And kudos to all the event organizers for taking all the efforts and organizing such an informative and insightful conference. It's really heartening to see the work that DevRel Asia and its sponsors are doing to enable this. So I would like to give a round of applause to all the organizers of DevRel Asia conference. And I'm going to soon have a blog post up with some more resources on my blog for the community managers. And as always, I'm happy to talk to people, happy to receive DMs, and I hope to talk to you also. So until then, stay healthy and take care. So that's it for today.
Thank you, Prasad. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Yasinoji.
Yeah, good session. I'm interested in how to promote our community to developers. In your session, Twitter and LinkedIn, you you use Twitter and LinkedIn. Maybe other platform in your area. What is your famous platform in your area?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, so there are different ways of promoting your event. Like there are a lot of communities that use Slack. Even there are a lot of communities that use meetup.com to promote their event. Yeah. So people nowadays are involved in community more than ever. And if you see recently, meetup.com completed 1 million online events in just last 6 months, which is, I feel it's incredible. So yeah, there are various platforms out there through which you can promote the event, get the RSVPs for your event. It all depends on which platform is suitable for your community. So yeah, it all depends upon the community that you are a member of, or you're an organizer of.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
And so that's all for the question we have got. Again, thank you, Prasad. And it was a great session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.